very much, Mr. Gregory. Alrighty, can everybody see the screen? Cool, sweet. All right, so today I wanted to talk about clarify your visual destiny. So, we're often told, you need to get the right branding, you need to get the right, video, you need to get the right graphics, and we're told that we need to do these things. It's one of those many things that business owners get told that they need to do. And so today I wanted to help out with that need in how you can, clarify what your visual story, how you're going to share your visual story, and what that's going to be. So basically, how video can become your greatest ally in the war for attention. And it really is a war for attention. If you go online anywhere these days, it's an all-out war for eyeballs. And it has become more and more increasingly so, where algorithms have learnt how to tripwire people's brains to be able to look at certain things and stay on certain things and get distracted by certain things. So a little bit about myself. In my early life, I was, brought up and raised by my grandparents, and they had a lot of, a lot of their sort of principles and values and ethics and morals and commitment to community and also allowing me to figure out my own path came from them. So, my grandmother would oftentimes, my grandparents both would oftentimes allow me and give me the space to communicate, the space to share, the space to talk. And I think when you're raised by your grandparents, it's a little bit different than when you're raised by parents. And there's pluses and negatives to both. However, I feel like grandparents aren't there to do a whole lot of disciplinary, a whole lot of kind of talking down to you. And it's more of like a, hey, we're here for you as you become a man, become of age, and we're here to help you along that journey. Almost like a kind of a guide or a, like a Sherpa up a mountain, so that's how I like to think of it. And that's some of the quotes that my grandparents would say. My grandmother, what her father said, you've been given a lot in your life, so it's your job to give more. My grandfather, a short amount of words, get on with it, no complaining, no explaining. So, they're obviously, he was obviously much deeper than that. But it's funny how sometimes the simple words can always hit you with a lot of depth. So this is some of the work that I've captured over the years. One of the big things I focused on was capturing the soul and the essence of the person. So I believed early on, once I did my diploma in photo imaging, once I got, we had to create an exhibition of images. And I believed early on that if I sat with someone long enough and I communicated with them and basically did what my grandparents did with me, held that space for them, eventually they would reveal their essence, they would reveal their true self. And I believed, in that split second, that flicker of a second when they reveal themselves, that's when you can take an image and capture their soul. So, and it's quite interesting because a lot of, like indigenous cultures around the world, they won't want you to take photographs of them because they believe that a photograph captures their soul. And so just interesting little tidbit. Anywho, so yeah, I think the first thing you need to be aware of is, like the number one thing of a business to thrive and survive is people need to know you exist. First they need to know you exist, then they need to know what you do, then they need to know how you can help them. And we're in this networking group, so that's one way of doing it. But yeah, there's many ways of doing it, and that is the number one day-to-day battle you're kind of going out there and fighting, is how do people know I'm there when they have that thing that I can solve for them. So make it your business to get into the business of telling your business's visual story. And this is where I'd ask you, when you're looking at your business, it's going to fit into a bucket. It's going to fit into an industry. And so how does your business industry stand, above or stand out compared to everyone else in that industry? And that's been my job on the other side of the camera for quite some time. So not only how do I make you, and the two keys here is you want to look professional, you want to look like your shiz, you know your stuff, you know what you're talking about, like you validate in the consumer customer's mind that, hey, if I invest, and sometimes it's more important if they invest time, a couple seconds into scrolling on your website a little bit longer. I know if I invest my time, this guy looks like he can get the job done. This guy or girl looks like he can get this job done. So that's a real important aspect, is you want to look professional. And then you also really want to look approachable in your visuals. You want to look like, hey, I can approach you, I can connect to you, I can communicate to you. You're not in the top echelon of society, where you've got your own, you go and meet on an island that I can't get to, or whatever it is. You are like someone I can approach and communicate and connect with. Alrighty, so purpose. So the purpose is really, really important when we're creating content, when we're thinking about our visual story. So, we want to really have a look at what's the purpose, what's the point of every asset, visual marketing asset. Why am I doing this? Is this to grab attention? Is this to speak on a topic that is currently in the news that my business can relate to, add value to? What is the purpose? Why am I creating? Am I just wanting my headshot updated? I just need a headshot update. Or I just need a video. I get told by my business coach I need a video. Yeah, but that's not good enough. If you want a good video, if you want a good headshot, if you want a good visual media, like, what's the purpose behind it? And there's a great little clip here. I won't click on it, but it's a company, or I think it's a government organization, a group in New Zealand called Keep It Real Online. And they basically do short 1-minute clips. And they talk about, cybersecurity. They talk about, sexual stuff online, and all these little honeypot things and these dangerous things online that young kids on the iPad, young kids going unmonitored, can jump on, violent, I think they're called snuff films. It talks about those things, but it's in a minute video. And how it's done is really good because it's got a humor element to it. And the purpose is to bring awareness to parents. The target would be parents. Bring awareness to, hey, you're leaving your kids with these devices. You're leaving your kids to use these devices. You need to kind of monitor them. It even shows you like how to turn the safe search on and things like that. But it's just all in a minute. So Keep It Real Online. I won't click that link there, but that's just an example of creating content with a clear purpose. All right. So why would you do visual storytelling? If I can do networking, if I can do my email campaigns, if I can do different sort of things, why would I do visual? Well, your visual, footprint, you almost think of it like, I guess, like planting your garden. Like everything that you put out there, it's going to grow. So you might put out a post, nothing happens. But over time, it will grow. Everyone that has started with, same as everyone, with not a lot of followers, not a lot of engagement. So it will grow, but you need to start planting. You need to start, basically putting in the groundwork of the foundation. And then, there's been stories of, there's a story actually in Western Australia where a guy would just do videos of his mechanic, just do videos of his mechanic store, and one of the videos just went wild, and he sold a whole bunch of products overnight in the US, and it just happened like that. So it's another one of those business things where you got to invest, and it's like going to the gym. You don't see the returns straight away. Or like we had a few people today discussing real estate as a great place to put your money and security. You might not see everything straight back into your pocket on day one, but it's those compounding, year over year yield returns. So we've got the three things when we're wanting to do video, wanting to create our own content. This is if you're creating your own content, if you're going and seeing a professional to get content created, the first thing you have to do, and this is kind of a three-pronged tool I use whenever I'm learning something new, is step one, unlearn. So there's so many blocks, there's so many blockades in the way of our learning anything new. And that's because, either we've heard it, or there's a headline in the newspaper that we've read, or we've agreed with an opinion poll on TV, and they've told us what opinion we should have. Now that opinion ends up being a block in our learning process. So if I go, all right, going to the gym, it's kind of useless with my body type. Someone tells me, you don't have the right body type for the gym. I don't have the right body type. What do you mean? Oh, you just don't, it's not going to work. Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll put that in the back. It's really hard to go to the gym and work out, but now that you've told me this, and so the first step is to unlearn all those things, discard all those things that are blockades in front of you going out and, creating the video, going out and getting in front of the camera, going out and creating content, which are all those sayings, like, oh, the algorithms are too hard now, or, it's moving too fast, or whatever it is. But that will get in the way of you doing anything. And the next step is repetition. So you need to post. You need to shoot. You need to create. And that seems overwhelming for a business owner that's busy doing a lot of things, but maybe you can choose one day a month where you go, all right, even just for half of this day, I'm going to write content out. I'm going to create content. I'm going to write, even if I don't want to get in front of the camera or anything, I'm going to write my 10 LinkedIn posts for the month. And then you can turn those into videos. You can turn those into shorts. You can repurpose those. But just at least start to have repetition. So then if you only do it once a month, do it every month. And then revise. So revise, basically, we've got to look back over, all right, what was our purpose? What was our purpose? What was our intent with the footage, the content, with what we're doing? What was our purpose? Did we get towards our target? Are we staying in alignment with our brand values and what we're trying to share? Are we still providing value? Are we still helping out our customers? And just revise. Once you get into that content repetition routine, revise on that. So here are and maybe Steve, you could let me know how I'm doing for time. And we've got a few.
All good.
Okay. We've got a few kind of, I guess, avatars or characters that you can have in your content. And you can become this, or, a lot of people say to me, I hate getting in front of the camera. I can't get, I just don't like, I don't look good. The anxieties come out. If that's the case, firstly, then, all right, find someone else. You can find like a team member, you can find a colleague, you can find some other way of doing it. So the archetypes, the edutainer. So they're both educational and entertaining. And that's the reality of it, is people will much rather be like entertained than educated. So you've got to figure out, how do I mix entertainment into the education cycle? And this is a great trick that will really catapult, accelerate any content that you create, because you're basically tapping into both ways that the brain fires and wires, and how people feel good. People feel good when they're entertained, and also if they learn something new. If you learn something new, people feel good. That's the did you know this, did you know thing. That's where that comes from. So it's really important to see if you can become an entertainer. If you can't, then seek one out. So become a headline hero, and that's basically where you're looking at current trends. So if we've got Rodney and he's talking about the importance of virtual assistants, he might go, so look on LinkedIn, and one of the top headlines were, do you know that, the common business owner works more than ever before, and then he can jump onto that headline and it can lead back to his solution. So rather than getting caught up, consumed, overwhelmed, anxious about the volumes of the oceans of headlines that grab you and shock you and pull your emotions all different ways, have a look at, all right, how can I kind of use this? And it comes from a core way. All right, this is a tragic bit of information, or this is a heavy bit of information. How can I add value and positivity to my community? Let me take this headline that everyone's losing their mind over, and let me actually go and see how I can add value and solve some of the problems that this headline speaks on. And the way the world's going, less trust in media, less trust in everything that's been structurally created in our lives. There's a lot of less trust, like for the new generations, next generations. And so you being more authentic and genuinely wanting to help and solve and add value is going to become more and more important. All right, so establish a consistent posting schedule. So once you've done that 1 day a month, where you've kind of looked at, all right, I'm going to write 10 pieces of content. All these algorithms, people in general, like that consistency. And looking at the news is a great example. They're doing video, they're talking on headlines, they're bringing a sense of importance. Stop whatever you're doing, have a look at this. And they're doing it 6 p.m. every night, 6 p.m. every night, 6 p.m. every night. And if you look at it closely, you'll see they start with a crash or an accident or something shocking. Then they take you to something a little bit less shocking. Then they talk about a miracle cure or something hopeful, like a cat that was saved out of a tree. And then they talk about the sports to finish. So there is a strategy to everything. So learn the strategy, and you won't become used by the strategy. You'll be able to use the strategy yourself. So grinding out the kind of the status, statue. So for me, I did a daily video, like a daily dose. And I'm not saying everyone must do this, but when you're consistent, then people start for me, I didn't get a whole, and this is, to show you, I didn't get a whole bunch of views on these videos. But when I went out to a network group, or whenever I went out, people in their mind started saying, "Oh, I see you everywhere. I see you everywhere." I'm going, well, could you watch a video so I can get a view, or could you, post a comment or something? But I don't know how they're seeing it, but it's all the voyeurs that are not necessarily engaging with your content, that are kind of really noticing what's going on in your content sphere. So you're still making a impact. And yeah, the beauty of it is you can be a social butterfly in your jammies, in your pajamas. So you can encourage engagement with your posts, with your content. And that if you're going, why am I not getting engagement? Why am I not getting comments and shares and things like that? You have to ask yourself genuinely, am I engaging my audience? Is this something engaging? Is this we like threes, we like number 3, we like bullet points, and win and prize and free. So have a look at those sorts of things to help you to engage your audience better. And then, yeah, so I paid promotion is another thing, especially if you've got a video, works really, really well. And I did a small boost post, guided by a marketing company. And you can kind of see where I was getting hardly any reach, doing organic. And look, organic, you can start to get things going. But I did this strategic post, and it worked really, really well. So it helped me to actually visually get in the room with people before I shook their hand. It allowed me to have a warm introduction. so that when I did go to a networking event, or I did meet them, or I did knock on their door, or I did, come into their business, it wasn't so cold. And it was uncanny how many people would say, I've seen your video, because I targeted an area, a specific area. And they said, oh, I've seen that video before, I know your face from somewhere. And it instantly broke the ice. It broke the kind of who are you? Are you a threat to me sort of thing? So that's really how that worked and helped. If you're going to do it, choose a specific, and even have a schedule. Like I heard of someone who would run an event, and 11 weeks up to attending that event, like a seminar, he was from elsewhere, but he would just target ads in and around the location of that event. Just basically flood the market size of that location with him. And so then when he's there, people already warm to him. They already know him. And that's where marketing really helps out. When you see when people see a famous person, there's almost safety there, or someone they've seen online. They're like, oh, I can shake your hand. I can go up. I can ask for an autograph. You're literally going to a stranger, to ask for an autograph. But because you've developed that online presence with them, they feel more comfortable with you. So, the psychology of it's fairly interesting as well. And these are some kind of campaigns that I've done, and then backwards engineering, like I said, earlier, doing the revision part of it, seeing the target that I had, the outcome, and was that the outcome that I was desiring. So, visual communication is the best form of virtual human marketing, I believe. And basically, to get the perfect connection, you want to have the right subject. So, that's when we talked about that kind of edutainer, the right personality, the right subject. And if it's you to start with, just kind of figure out what people like, ask your family and friends, do people see you as a jokester? Do they like that part of you? Do people love your intellectual side, where you can, go deep into topics, your philosophical side? Figure out what that is, and then that's the subject. That's the kind of the interest. And you want to have good, decent lighting. If you're shooting the video yourself, if you're getting someone to shoot it, make sure that you're lit well, because a badly lit video, we just turn off it nowadays. We make such quick decisions on don't like, and we will just flick off it straight away. And you want to have a decent composition. Azim's got a killer composition there, trophies in the background. So does Rodney. You want to have a good composition around you whilst you're shooting your video. Alrighty. And yes, so please, guys, do you have any questions of where to get started? I know it's a daunting prospect. I'm sure you guys have done plenty of video and marketing and creating photos and content, yourself. But yeah, did you have any questions for me? All right, Azim.
Can I have your autograph, Kyle?
Mate, you sure can.
You said.
I'll send you a signed copy of the book, and you can have an autograph. But no, I've sent you I did want to say actually earlier, I've sent you a link to the the audio book where you can get it for free, because you were the best 42nd, and I wanted to give you a gift. So
thanks
I'll put that in the chat.
Just so in terms of a real question, it's
yes,
that storytelling. I think it's because I obviously deal with a lot of business owners. It's what do you find is the biggest challenge in essentially convincing them how important that is? I mean, you spoke about the news before, and I always say, what they used to tell them in journo school: if it bleeds, it leads, right? But you want them lead with good news. How do you break through that thing? And it's not just I don't want to be on camera; it's I don't think that's important.
Yeah, and I think that's the I guess not imposter syndrome, but that's kind of like the it's us becoming our own biggest obstacle. I think to break through that, you have to do quite a bit of work with the person. I think the person has to do personal growth work as well, the individual on that topic. Not saying that their life isn't together elsewhere, but on that topic, hey, I don't think my stuff is worthy enough. I think a great one to look at is, if they've gotten reviews in their business, if they've gotten recommendations, like really like highlight some of the big wins that they've had in their business. And then also highlight the pains that maybe people had before they came to them. So like a chiropractor, I'm just a chiropractor, but then get them to actually speak to the people, like, what sort of pains did you have in your neck before you came to me? Oh, I couldn't even lift my kids up to give them a hug, and those sorts of things. And then, oh, well, okay, then there's a raised level of importance in what I'm doing. And you can elevate that, you can manufacture that, like, truthfully, you can create that truthfully. I think that's an important way of doing it. And yeah, I think discussing with people that they've helped, and if they don't think their story is important, like, it's just really like, if they really understand their target market or the target audience, like who they help, like how important is it for that person that they show up? And if they didn't show up, where would that person be?
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Thanks for that, buddy.
That's right. Thanks, Azim. Appreciate it. Shanley.
Thanks for a great presentation, Kyle. Really, really good, really informative. I just had a question about the length of video. Is there like some sort of statistics that show that, a certain length of video on social media is more likely to be viewed? Like, I know if it's too long, people tend to sort of tune out. What's the magic number?
So that's a great question. You look at Coca-Cola used to do like 45 second, then a 30 second, then a 15 second, and they would kind of like filter down like that. I'm shooting quite a few TV ads at the moment, and so they're choosing 30 second and even 50 second options. So really short for that television ad. And speaking on that, it depends where, like, the platform it's going, and the purpose. So if they're like, one of the TV ads is talking about a competition, to win a couple nights stay away, at a hotel. So that's like a very short, like, offer, very sharp offer that they're talking about. So I don't think that there's a limit, because people will listen to 3-hour podcasts. They will watch, 10 season Netflix of, Game of Thrones. We'll consume a lot, but we need to see value. So I think the more important thing, if you're advertising something, then it's those shorter cycles of time. But when you're creating content, I think the thing I'd focus on more than time would be the value, and like giving it up front, like that kind of giving principle. Am I giving them a lot of value up front for them to continue to watch and consume and interact with the content? Because that's where people will listen to a 3-hour podcast and want more at the end of it,
Yeah, great. Thank you. That makes sense.
It's all right. Thank you very much. Leon, you had a question?
Yeah, thanks for that, man. That was good to listen to. I just have a quick question. Okay. You said you used a company to help make a post on Facebook, and you saw the numbers shoot up. What was that actual post, man?
Oh, so basically, I put some ad spend into a video, and the video was targeted in a location that I'd moved to, and basically just like an information video, like, hey guys, I'm in the area, this is what I do, this is some of the stuff that I've done, and this is like who I'm looking to help out. So a lot of people found it, like, kind of authentic and real, and I wasn't shying away of asking for what, like saying, hey, look, if you need help, I'm here, sort of thing. So yeah, more of an awareness campaign.
So you made it feel like it wasn't like a played one. It was an actual real. This is what we do with this area here. Okay, nice to know.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly. So awareness, like awareness post. Yeah,
cool. Thanks,
Leon. Appreciate that. I think Adam before Brett, or Adam.
Hey, thanks, Carl. Great presentation. Actually, my question before was actually around the ultimate length of a video. So thanks for asking that question before and answering that. But my main thing when I'm involved in working with people is particularly someone who's going to be presenting in a video, not so much someone being interviewed, but someone who's like been interviewed to present, if you know what I mean. We're asking them to present on their subject matter. Do you have like a number one tip to get them to relax and feel confident?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like as soon as you put a black box in front of someone's face, the camera, it's instantly, want to run for the hills. So what I'd always do, and especially definitely in my early days of like photographing, capturing the essence and the soul of people, was to here's the camera and pull it away from myself and then just get connected with the person and just communicate with the person, talk to the person. And basically that was the skill was that. And then the camera's just like the device. So really working on communicating with them, having a conversation, taking genuine interest in their life. Like, we all do, it's nothing bad about it, but people love talking about themselves. So asking them questions about themselves, their life, those sorts of things, really good. And then slowly the conversation, you just slowly lead it back to the video that you're going to be recording, So you'll ask them about the kids, whatever different little elements, and then try and lead the conversation back to the recording. Otherwise they'll just go off in daydream where they want to be. But I think that's a really great way of just kind of getting them relaxed.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, two great tips. Keep the device away and just lead the conversation gradually to the topic. Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it. Brett.
Thanks, Kyle. Good presentation. I didn't have a specific question, but did just want to provide some testimony to the power of video. Obviously a mortgage broker now, but in a previous life, I was a residential real estate agent. And we were probably one of the first companies in our area that were doing regular video updates and video presentations for properties. The power of that was incredible. I don't have the best looking head. I was very self-conscious, giving the tours, putting myself right there in people's faces. But I used to have people that were really excited to come up and meet me at open homes that I'd never met before in my life. And
Awesome.
the moment where it really hit me was I had this guy come up to me with this really thick Scottish accent, and he goes, "Mate, I've been watching all of your videos. It's fantastic because I get to see, the proportions of the home based against, a person in real life." And he goes, "I feel like I know you because I've watched so much of your stuff." And this is a guy that had been watching it from overseas in preparation for his move to Australia.
Wow.
And I just went, there was certain power there. I don't think particularly the social stuff gets the interactions that it used to. But for me, and I still do a little bit of it now, I should be doing more of it. And this is probably the kick up the bum that I needed. So thank you. But it's the comments that you get outside of it, when people meet you or they see you and they go, "Oh, I've been loving your video stuff." And, so you can't look for the likes or the shares or whatever it is as the justification to do it. It's got to be more than that. But mate, I loved what you were doing and just wanted to lay that extra testimony for the power of it for the people that aren't using it.
Appreciate that, Brett. That's great. It's a great story, mate. And no, you don't have a bad head. Don't say that, mate.
We'll turn the camera off. Don't worry.
Oh, mate, that's brilliant. No, I love that story. And like at the end of the day, you're providing value to that guy that's coming over and looking at a home. So that's the thing to bring it back to is, hey, I'm providing value, or how can I provide value? How can I help? Which is what we're doing, but on a video format. And you're right, that comments and interactions outside, that's really where a lot of things take place, compared to, did I get enough likes and comments and shares? And I think those they're more vanity metrics, compared to real life results. So yeah.
Let's
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
together
that.
for Kyle. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.